Good morning, a warm welcome to those attending and also to our viewers watching live on the Council's YouTube channel, London Hillingdon. This is a meeting of the Licensing Subcommittee and my name is Councillor Becky Hagger and I am Chair of this meeting. Details of the business to be considered today are shown on the agenda, copies of which are accessible on the YouTube underneath the broadcast. Please note that members of the committee will be using tablets and laptops to view the agenda today. I do have hard copy paper. Fire alarm. We're not expecting a fire drill, so if the fire alarm does go off, please follow officers to the fire exits and out of the building to the designated meeting points. Mobile devices. For those in the room, please switch off any mobile devices before the meeting starts or put them on silence. Councillors, if you have a declaration of interest to make in relation to today's agenda, please ensure that you state whether it's pecuniary or non-pecuniary and give the reason of your interest. Members do not need to declare an interest in any item on the agenda where they have already listed this on the register of interests, and furthermore, you do not need to declare an interest just because you're a ward councillor or because you are a governor. If you require residents' feedback forms are at the back of the room and they're also on YouTube. So if you are minded, you can complete one of the residents' feedback forms. These can be found in the information section under the YouTube video. These forms are intended to help us improve the way we run our meetings. Now we move on to the attendees of the meeting, and if we could all introduce ourselves. I'm Councillor Becky Hagger, Chair of the meeting. I'll go to my right.
Good morning, my name's Chantal McLeod. I'm the Legal Officer for today's hearing.
Councillor Peter Smallwood.
Councillor Kuldeep Lakmana.
Hi, my name is Rajinder Singh Chopra.
I'm Mr. Panchal from PLC, representing Rajinder Singh.
Suresh Kanavadi, I'm the agent representing the applicant. Thank you.
Mark Rose, Licensing Officer.
Anisha Teji, Democratic Services.
Lovely, thank you and welcome everyone. Apologies of absence.
No apologies, thank you.
Declarations of interest? No? Okay. I can confirm that the items of business are marked in Part 1 will be considered in public and items marked Part 2 will be considered in private. There's no Part 2, we are all public. Have we had any notification in advance that's been urgent? No? Okay. So we're going to go straight into the proceedings. You have got, and all probably know by well, what the proceedings are. But we start off with an introduction by the Regulatory Services, and that's Mark Rose. So over to you, Mark.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, all. You will have all received the report and agenda and will be familiar with the application. This hearing relates to an application by ARCA Licensing Consultants. The application was submitted by an agent, Mrs. Neera Suresh, on behalf of the applicant, Mr. Thiessen Kantasamy, for S&K News, 64 Byron Way, West Drayton, UB79JD. Their application relates to the sale of alcohol, off sales only, 7 days a week, Monday to Sunday, 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. This is without any seasonal variations. This would allow the selling of alcohol for consumption off the premises. The proposed opening hours also being 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. throughout the week. On page 27 of the report, you can see what has been offered to support the 4 licensing objectives by the applicant. They detail the use of CCTV, a Challenge 25 policy, the use of an incident log and refusals book. They also include training, signage and acceptable forms of identification to uphold the licensing objectives. A brief timeline of events. So the application was submitted on February the 19th, 2025. The application was processed and sent out for consultation on February the 20th. I attended the venue on February 27th and took a photo of the blue notice on display at the shop in full view of passers-by. The application was advertised in the newspaper on March 5th in an issue of the West London Gazette, and the last date for representations was set as March 19th. During the consultation period, we received objections from an interested party, Mr. Chopra, a concerned local business owner who has raised concerns about a possible increase in crime in the local area. Some important points of note to cover. During the process, Mr. Chopra also submitted a petition signed by some local residents. This was excluded from the report under section 17.17 of the council policy, as it did not meet the standards we would want from a petition. Secondly, a lease issue has also been raised from Mr. Chopra concerning 64 Byron Way. However, during the consultation process, licensing has found out that this property was sold by Hillingdon Council on the 22nd of March 2024 to MNB Properties, and that the property in question is not subject to any restrictions, and the applicant can elaborate on this if required. In the rep made by Mr. Chopra, he mentions 6 CAD and CHS numbers from the Metropolitan Police. I have submitted a Freedom of Information request to view all these details, but have only ever received a generic response informing me that the turnaround process would take approximately 8 weeks, so I have not seen what these relate to. We have received an email from the licensing team for the Metropolitan Police and were told the following. They all relate to Mr. Chopra's store, Glebe Food Fair, at 86 Coleridge Way, and they all relate to 3 crime reports and are not linked to the applicant's store at 64 Byron Way. I now invite the committee to determine this application, giving due considerations to the applications and all submissions, both verbal and written. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we've had no members' inquiries or anything like that through, have we?
No, we haven't, no.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? No? Okay, we go over to the applicant and the applicant's representative.
Thank you, Chair, and we thank you, Mark, for presenting the case. And I think Mark clearly has said everything that you need to know about the applications. Chair, I would like to go straight into, so as you know, this premises has been operating very long time and prominently been in newspaper and other services. And now, you know, there is a requirement, well, a lot of people, because it's a local store and it is the convenience store, and a lot of customers, you know, they want to be able to buy all the product in one place rather than, you know, popping down to other places, different products. So that's one of the reasons for the application, Chair. And it's been a community store, and the applicant himself, he's been working in a licensed industry more than 15 years, right? Yeah, he knows the 4 licensing objectives, which is prevention of crime and disorder, prevention of public nuisance, public safety, and protection of children from harm. And we work together to put up an operating schedule, which is on the page 27. CCTV, he already have CCTV system in place, installed, and is working, and it is working for 31 days recording, and then he will be able to provide any record to the police or anyone, you know, any authorities they need it. And also challenge 25, anyone under 25 wouldn't be sold alcohol without their proving over 18. Any incident you will be recording that as well. And whenever you refuse anybody, you know, when they don't have ID, when you refuse, you write them down. And all the staff will be trained. It's a family-run business. He and his wife is the main staff. In addition, they have 2 other staff working. They all will be trained. And also, we will put a sign outside in terms of the public nuisance. Even the picture that Mark took, you can see the area is really clean, you know. And they kept it clean. Yeah.
I'm always clean, yeah.
You're cleaning and picking up any litter outside. Chair, and you know, we have no objections from any public and also any of the responsible authorities. Whereas we have a local business put a representation, and you know, we totally understand that, you know, it could be an impact on the other business. but it's more of a, I mean, we could look at it both ways. One way is to look at is also giving a choice of products and choice of services to the customers, you know. So they have a choice, which is part of the, you know, the free world economy now. And also they were talking about crimes and all kind of things. You know, it's all clear. If anything like that happening, even the police told them that the crime reports, the crime things reported here, the crime reference numbers, is related to 86 Coleridge Way, which is the next premises. I'm not saying, but what I'm saying is, you know, right now with this particular premises right now, there is no evidence the premises has caused, and he's been running for a while. And I mean, we don't sell alcohol, but you'll be selling other underage product like vapes, cigarettes and other things, you know. Yeah. So those can also cause, you know, the young people causing nuisance or any kind of issues. So nothing has happened. So he's been operating, how long you been operating now? About a year now, right? Yeah. This shop, you've been running?
This shop is 4 months.
4 months, yeah. It's been running 4 or 5 months, you know, without any issues.
Yeah.
And also with his experience, you know, he'll be running responsibly and promoting the 4 licensing objectives. So I think the objections relating to 4 licensing objectives, prevention of crime and disorder and protection of children from harm, but these are nothing, since this premises hasn't been selling alcohol or nothing has been reported against this premises. Even the police confirmed that none of these incident or the CAT numbers related to this particular premises, whereas it's related to the other things. So considering all of those, Chair, I think the hours also applied 6 to 11 p.m., which is the opening hours. Because they sell newspapers, they're still selling newspapers. A lot of people buying them in the morning, so they open like 6 o'clock in the morning to 11, the closing times. And also we don't see any reason why this particular premises can't have a license, you know, while it is, I mean, as per the guidance also, why they can't have a license during this opening hours. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you for giving us an in-depth view of the application. Just to confirm, you've been in the premises for a year, did you say, at the moment, but have had 15 years prior experience in a licensing. Right, okay. Yeah, okay. And also, just to confirm, can you just give me an idea what percentage of the shop would be selling alcohol? So I have got, obviously we've got a diagram on page 35.
The diagram says...
Could you use your mic, sorry? Your mic.
Oh, thank you, Peter.
So it will be not more than 25% of the floor space, as you can see, and then the way the alcohol is being displayed as well, not in the front or entrance side, so at the rear side of the premises and behind the till as well.
Lovely, thank you. Councillors, do you have anything you wish to ask? Yeah?
The gentleman said that you've got CCTV already installed. How long have you had that? How long have you had the CCTV?
How long have you been installing that?
1 month.
Just 1 month. Was that
a recording for 1 month?
Recording 1 month.
Recording for 1 month. Chair, I have another... Sorry.
Previous owner, I still maybe more than...
Is your mic on? Sorry, is your mic on?
If you press that button.
Thank you.
31 days in recording.
Recording. Yeah. Okay. Chair, I have another question, please. You said your staff are trained.
Yeah.
And you have a logbook to record any sales that for underage children. Do you have many recordings in that logbook?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, so you get a lot of people coming in, underage?
No, not much of underage people coming. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Maybe the question. Yeah. So I think it's understanding the question. So I think we need to just understand the question of what Councillor Akmamana is saying. So can you just repeat the question?
So you have a logbook. So if you're declining a sale to somebody who's underage, You record that in this logbook. Do you have many entries in that?
No, not many.
Can you put your mic on? Sorry, can you put your mic on? That's
not many interests. Yeah.
Not many.
Yeah.
entries.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Even. Yeah.
lovely, thank you. Our next, no more questions from councillors. Our next is responsible authorities, but we haven't got any responsible authorities with us, so we can now go over to interested parties. Thank you.
Sorry, ma'am, do we ask a question or can we put the business? Okay, thank you. Just trying to. I'm in a new place. Please trying to.
It's in the discussion.
Yes, the discussion.
Thank you, Chair. I'm learning this side. Chair, I've been instructed in this case to oppose this application. The concern my client had when the application came into is long time back these properties were under the council. They were all under the council, and normally the councils have laid out in their leases that there will be one barber shop, one off license, one grocery and that. And with that in mind, my client had rented the property from the council. He's been there for the last 17 years. When this application came in, he was a bit surprised and objected to the application, which I understand was against the council to say, look, it's a freehold now, council have sold it, so there are restrictions, move out of it. Now, being there for last 17 years, it has become, at the moment, a bit problematic for him, his business-wise and that. He lives in a council property. The footfall in that area is not quite large. And it would be a huge problem. The area is not on the CIZ, cumulative impact zone. If it was a cumulative impact zone, we would be discussing it in details. Now that has caused a problem with my client, in coming down to object to this application. Now, I do understand the guidance which says under 10.15 that we can't, competition is open. But here, what we are asking the committee to say that if this license was granted, it would be a disaster to Mr. Rajinder's business, and it would collapse. He has loans on it. His family depends on the trade there in that area. Is there a requirement with the general people around the area? And the answer is no. That is something that he was quite worried. So that's one of the things that we were trying to put forward. The other thing that our concern was, you've just seen the councillor about the refusal book and that. We would prefer somebody who would come in, yourself or the committee would see if the licensing objectives were thoroughly promoted or not. In this case here, my view would be, it would be interesting to hear from the person who's running the shop, Mr. Kathambani or Mr. Thisan Kantaswamy, if he could explain to us how the 4 licensing objectives would be promoted to satisfy our matter that in this area matters would be highly appreciated. The other thing concerned that we were looking at when my good friend Suresh put his case forward to you, the client has just come into the area, if I'm not mistaken, 4 to 5 months in the area. So how good does he know the area? Mr. Rajinder Singh's been there for the last 17 years. So, Chairman, that's our point at the moment. It has been there as a newspaper for the last 15 years, that premises. And if it is surviving for 15 years, would it not be advisable for you to make your decision today to say all the business can have their own matter? I understand it's very difficult, but this is what our view is today, that the application should be refused.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your comprehensive response. And obviously we're looking at the licensing objectives here, and we're looking at future, so because the licence isn't granted yet, so thank you very much. And just to confirm, how long have you been in business for?
From 2008.
From 2008. Okay. And can you just confirm, have you had any trouble or anything in your shop particularly?
When I bought that shop, there was lots of troubles. Every day there are gangs coming. Even in winter time, there are boys coming, 10, 20. They coming, taking stuff from shops. Even they're trying. My dad was alone. That one day I've been to cash and carry. They come and punch his nose. His nose is broke. And recently, around 5-6 months ago, I've been to cash and carry. Same happens. It's a kick, punch his eyes. Now he's on surgery. They put on surgery because his eyes not seeing properly. So I know this area from last 17 years. I know the kids who grow up front of me. So area is not footfall. We depend only on the houses who come round and pick the stuff. Used to be the people don't have cars, and now everyone move up to bigger stores and sales gone down, and we just depended on the people who coming inside. I don't use any news agents, so council give us like off license and normal grocery, the SNK, the news agent, and morning whatever they're selling. So I'll never say I'm taking news agent because I need more sales. So they're running their store, I'm running my store, and I don't have another job or anything to run my house with that. So if the license granted, so that means I'm going to down and I have to be closed, nothing else. So that's...
Thank you for explaining that. Thank you. That information is very good. Sorry to hear about the incident as well for your father. Councillor Smallwood.
Thank you, Chair. I have great sympathy with Mr. Chopra's situation, but I just wanted to be absolutely clear. None of the things that his representative presented us today, I still can't see which of them match to our licensing objectives. I'm very sympathetic to that, but ultimately competition between two shops is not a licensing objective unless I'm going to be corrected by the legal officer or the chair. So therefore I'm struggling to have heard anything at all so far that relates to the licensing objectives of the council, of which you will have sat here many times going through which licensing objectives are problematic, because I'm struggling to see, other than a very complicated and difficult story, which I have sympathy for. Competition is competition, and if two businesses set up to compete, that's for them to do. It doesn't actually relate to the licensing objectives.
Thank you, Councillor Smallwood. Do you have a question or anything that you would like to confirm?
The question I'd like to confirm is there anything in the licensing objectives that you think are problematic, that are problematic with this granting this license?
Thank you very much. I did mention in my representation that there's nothing much I could say, because the licensing guidance clearly states that competition is open, which I agree with what you're saying. But when we say competition is open, we also need to look at the licensing objectives 2.1 in the guidance, which clearly states from the 2.1 onwards how the licensing objectives will be promoted. What we've heard today is from the license applicant's agent of what the 4 licensing objectives are. We would like to hear from the license person what or how the license objectives would be run. If he qualifies to understand or make us understand, that would be the answer for what the councillor is asking for.
Yes, and that would come in the discussion. So I did make a note of that, and those sort of things will come in the discussion as we start to open up and get a good idea of where we are. And that's what we're here today. We're here to discuss the licence application that's come through and to make sure it covers all the licensing objectives, which is exactly what Councillor Smallwood said. And it's important that we do that. So thank you. Okay, we're actually going... Oh, sorry, Councillor Lakmana.
I have a question for Mr. Panchal. You said that there is no need for another off-license in the locality. How did you assess that?
I'm assessing according to when the initial, I'm coming back to the initial grant of the licenses during the council's ownership of those properties. That is where I came in. But when it comes to the latest guidance on the licensing and because the property is now a freehold, I'm still saying that there is nothing in the guidance can refuse the application. So I'm saying the only refusal point we're looking at is Mr. Singh has been promoting 4 licensing objectives for the last 15, 17 years. If the new applicant could give us that by himself, then there would be nothing we could do, and the committee would grant that license. That's what my view is. So I'm not saying the competition is not vital. It is vital. It can happen, and we're there to agree to that. But it is necessary that we understand that somebody coming into that competition does understand the 4 licensing objectives.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, and I just want to echo, I think we'll be quite confident that we're going to deliver that and go through that as a licensing committee. So I want to be confident that we are confident in delivering those sorts of things. Okay, so we're going to come on to the discussion. Oh,
Councillor Smallwood had a question.
There we go. Okay, we're going to come on to the discussion. So this enables us, through the chair, to bring out anything we want to check, and exactly as the interested party just said, it would be covering the licensing objectives. So Councillor Smallwood's going to start it off.
I'm going to preference this before I answer the question, because I don't want us to jump down a rabbit hole that I think would be problematic. I would not want applications to come here to licensing subcommittees just for an applicant to reassure us every single time that they know the licensing objective. We'd never stop them in doing them, right? We'd be here every day of the week from 9 till 5 with every application that comes in. So I asked this question, but preferenced with that. I don't think this is a complete reason to bring something to a licensing subcommittee, and I'd hope that this isn't something that becomes a norm just for this. So if the applicant could go through in not great detail, but in slight detail, what the 4 licensing objectives are, and maybe some very short examples of how they're going to observe them.
Yeah, can you use your mic, please, as well?
So what the committee wants to know, right?
Yeah.
There are 4 licensing objectives.
Yeah.
They want to know whether you are aware of them, what are they, and how are you going to promote them, what you're going to do to promote them.
Product of children.
Sorry,
Product of children. And
you want to say how are you going to protect the children, or what are the steps you're going to take? How are you going to protect, what are the steps you are taking?
Product of children and public safety and
and you can elaborate on. I know it's like it's not like exams.
On the children and the public safety, just give us some examples. But this isn't a test, right? I kind of feel almost slightly bad putting you completely on the spot. But maybe if you just take those 2 through and say what you do if a child came in to buy alcohol, or what you do if there was a safety issue.
We can ask ID for people ask. When reduce, I can write it down in the book.
Who would you ask ID? What kind of people?
Under 25.
And in terms of crime and disorder, you have.
And so I definitely look under 25. So if I came into your shop and said to you, I'd like to buy this bottle of wine, and you said to me, could I see your ID? And I said, I'm definitely 25. And I didn't have my ID on me, would you serve me?
No. I want to make sure over 18.
And if there was sorry, Chair, through you, if there was an incident where there was a fight that broke outside the shop, or would you call the police instantly? Would you get law enforcement involved? Would you make sure that a proper log of it was taken, and you'd have the CCTV on record to pass at the police?
Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Mana.
You said your staff are trained, so if there was an incident and the police wanted to look at the recording, I know the gentleman said it's you and your wife primarily, but you've got 2 staff. Are your staff trained to assist the police in that? Are your staff trained to help the police see that recording? Thank you.
Sorry, that's okay. Can I just remind you, you might even be able to keep it on, maybe put your mic on when you speak.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you. I just want to ask a few questions. I'm just really confident, not quite confident in the licensing objectives. You had a licensing venue for 15 years, is that correct? Okay, so how did you tackle antisocial behaviour if someone came in, they were, they were drunk, you were going to refuse them? How would you tackle that? That's my first question. And my second question is, do you have any emergency buttons? We've just heard about the issues that could be surrounding the area. Do you have an emergency panic button? And then my third question is, how many staff do you have in the shop? So there's three questions. One, how would you deal with someone who came in and obviously you're not going to serve them alcohol, and there was an issue? Two, your panic button. And three, how many staff you have in the shop?
You said he's had an off license for 15 years. I thought the gentleman said he's got 15 years experience.
Yeah.
So is that just working in an off license, or does he?
Working.
Working.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, working. Yeah.
Okay, so the first question, if I can. So, if a drunk person coming, three questions. No. If a drunk person coming to buy alcohol, how would you tackle that?
I can't sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can't sell it for the drunk people. Yeah.
But you don't sell it, yeah?
Yeah, we don't sell it.
So what would you do? I think that's what I'm trying to establish. So someone's come in, they're drunk, they want the alcohol, you're not going to sell it, and it kicks off.
Yeah.
I
can't say, sorry, I can't sell it, because you already drunk, please, I can't sell it,
Okay.
And then you refuse it.
And refuse it, then after write it down in the box. Yeah.
And do you have a panic button?
Yes.
Panic button is the other questions. And how many staff?
4. With the wife and 2.
4 staff. Okay. And I think Councillor Lekmana did ask, but all the staff have trained, will be trained?
Yeah.
Okay, I just have a few other questions. Is that okay?
Yeah.
There's other questions around the times, 6 till 2300 hours. When we look at the other premises that are around, some of them are different hours. Obviously Tesco's is, but there are others. Would you be at all up for changing the hours, varying them?
Yeah.
So in other words,
some might close early.
Yeah, absolutely. So instead of 6 o'clock, maybe 8 o'clock, which runs in line with the others.
And it's close early.
Okay, and close earlier. So what time would you close at? You've got 23.
9, 10,
Okay.
Yeah, but at the moment you close loud, right?
9 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be 8 till 9. And the other thing, we did speak about it, our licensing officer did mention it, the seasonal variation. Would you put a seasonal variation in? Which again, if you have a look at the page 5, we've got Londis and Simpsons, and they're round on the Good Friday, Christmas Day. It's the bank holiday variations.
Chair, I think, if I may, Chair, this application is being put 6 to 11 o'clock midnight, which is the opening hours of the premises, and that's what the licensing hours we have applied for. And right now, there is none of the responsible authorities has put forward any kind of concerns with the opening hours, and none of the public put any representation, except there's a competitive things to come.
I understand that.
Yeah, and we got that. But Chair, I think that's, in terms of the hours. Also, I was, rightly you said there are a number of premises, but you can see in the same postcode There are licenses, the licensing hours ending at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Absolutely.
And midnight, there are few midnight as well. I think it is 11 o'clock, 6 to 11, it's a fair hours. Yeah.
I think it might be good because obviously to discuss with your applicant, because we're having two different views here. Your applicant's saying yes and you're saying to me 11. Chair.
The way I interpreted it, if I may, was I think the applicant was saying that sometimes he closes at 8 or 9. I don't think he was agreeing to closing at 8 or 9. I don't think he was agreeing to having his licence back to 8 or 9. I think he was just going, sometimes it's quiet, I want to go and watch EastEnders, I'm going to close.
Okay, that's okay. So I just want to be clear, because obviously I did get a little bit confused there, so let me be clear. So what the opening and closing times for the licensing? You know?
11, yeah, then.
And what time? Sorry, what time in the morning?
Morning 6 o'clock.
Okay, and so they are going to be the times you wouldn't vary them, which is what I was saying about selling the alcohol at 8 o'clock. That's not negotiable.
Chair, I think if there is a fair reason, I don't think it is a concern, but even in the licensing guidance, you will see, unless you have a particular concerns, normally in the city areas, maybe a morning ringing, I think, in this case, being in the residence, let's put poll, I think it's been confirmed as well.
Okay.
Considering it's the local residence, there's no reason, why this premises can't have a license and the opening hours same.
Okay. I think that's it from me. Yeah, Councillor Smallwood.
Just in terms of the timing, what I'm trying to do is just take this as on paper. We've had no objections from any of the authorities at all. The reason we are here, which is the great thing about democracy, is somebody has raised a concern, and I think they have every right to do that. But if they hadn't, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't even be talking about the times, and I'm just trying to link back to anything that has been said today or anything that is in any of the reports that would link us back to any of the times. And can anybody provide me with anything that I should be taking in consideration when considering a potential change of timing? Because at the moment I'm struggling to find anything, and I just wanted to see if there was anything from a legal perspective that would say that, or thank you.
Councillors, you are basing your determination on the facts that you're hearing today and what's been presented within the pack. This is your opportunity to obviously ask members, parties, to elaborate on matters within the pack and whatever has been represented today, but it is based on the evidence that you hear and what's in the pack, and of course whatever is elaborated during this meeting. I hope that helps.
Councillor Lakmana.
The question, the gentleman compared the other stores which are in the vicinity or the postcode, but I think the starting time for those is much later. The time proposed by yourselves is your opening time for the store. I just wanted to have that noted, please. Thank you.
Well, thank you, I think, for that point, but also rightly saying that. But in the meantime, every application is need to be looked at in its own merits and the location. Thank you.
Okay, so no further questions? Interested parties?
Yeah. Sorry, Chair, we don't have any further questions. Only question we were more concerned was, as you've looked at on page 5, regarding what the councillor was saying, that all other premises are open at 8 o'clock. On many occasions I've come to these hearings here, and yes, the councils have discussed about the opening hours for many premises, whereby, although they were applied for at 6 and granted at 8 to 9 o'clock, looking at the alcohol matters, and that is what we are also asking today. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Can you... Sorry, I just still had some concerns, but I wanted to check with legal first. I still have some concerns around your awareness of the licensing objectives, if I'm honest, and we're here, and that's what's really important. Can you just explain the licensing objectives just in normal layman's terms of what you understand and why? And also, I'm just a little, because obviously I know you're repeating the question. I don't know why that is. So again, I just, I just want to I want to try and understand what's happening here, so we can bring it out a bit.
Chair, I think the reason I just want to clear up why I am repeating the questions, because more often coming here first time, sitting around, it can be nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
And me repeating it, sometimes the sound of it as well, because, to make it easier to understand. I didn't say it, still repeating in the same language like English, so you can see that. So really helping him out. And he's like rightly said, it's not about doing a test here about the licensing objectives, but it's having an understanding of it. And then he actually were talking about many things you can see during the meetings about the steps that he had already in the place. But if you want to repeat the whole things again, I think you have concern, and there are 4 licensing objectives. Maybe he mentioned only 2, but it's for him, he is aware of it, and he's been working and he's been managing it. But the matter of saying those 4, right? I don't know if can you say the 4 licensing objectives again?
Really I'm nervous. Yeah, that's the main thing. Yeah. Then, yeah.
You want to repeat the 4 licensing objectives again, so that I think the 4 objectives.
Yeah. Children protect, and public safety, and yeah.
Take your time.
And
come back again. I'm sure you can do it.
Yeah.
What other 2 more is missing?
If you can help him, I just really want to because again, it's about the licensing objectives, but it's about just understand, why they're there.
What are the other problems with alcohol? And then
CCTV.
Why do you have CCTV?
I want to make sure the problems.
To prevent.
Yeah, it's not a test. It's I think it's just understanding the implications. Do you know what I mean?
Crime is stop the crime and save CCTV camera. And nuisance, and public nuisance, and
to stop it.
That's fine. Thank you so much. And it was just, like we said, it's not a test. There's no need to be nervous. It's just literally so that we can get an understanding. And sometimes it's not just about what the licensing objectives are, understanding what they are, because it has a repercussion, right?
More than 15 years experience. I'm nervous, that's why I don't come. Even I'm working in the shop. Never ever complain or never ever any problem is us, because I selling in the lottery ticket. Ticket people also every time is coming and check it. He give you letter as well. All letter I got.
Yeah, thank you.
Now nervous. That's the main thing.
No, really good to hear you as well. Really good to hear your voice. And you explain that really eloquently. So and that's fine for me. So thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, do we have any further discussion topics, or are we led? No? Okie dokie. So now we're going for closing remarks. Licensing, have you got closing remarks?
Nothing from me, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. And other parties?
Chair, yes, we do understand people get nervous regarding presentations of, I sometimes get the same problem when I come in. We're not arguing here about the promotion of full license, which is very important again. We have seen him. What our concerns are that Mr. Rajinder Singh's shop is around the area next to it, and it opens at 8 o'clock in the morning. That's what the licensing laws are, and we're a little bit concerned if this shop was to sell alcohol at 6 o'clock in the morning, would it require or not? That's one of the concerns. The other concern is, yes, we understand that the licensing section guidance do tend to have that competition is vital, which we understand from the councillors here. But we are also understanding that it is previous matters have and now create a problem which is giving us a huge problem. That is why we are here today. So, Chair, we have nothing more to say. That's what our concerns are at the moment.
Thank you very much. And finally... Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. We will now be in deliberations as to what we're going to decide on, we're going to discuss. If you'd like to leave the room and just wait outside, just in the hallway there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.